Hi, I'm Chantal, and joining me today is Mark Powell from the RNIB. Thank you for joining me, Mark. Can you start off by telling us about what your role is at the RNIB?
I'm the strategic accessibility lead at RNIB, so my role is to effectively raise the bar when it comes to accessibility. I work with major organisations to effectively disrupt and create catalysts for change, and address some of the real life challenges that we all have within the accessibility world. You have to delve into an area, disrupt it, showcase the issue or the problem, and work with like-minded organizations who want to effectively disrupt that space too, to create a more wider scale, long-lasting social change. So I like to call some of the partners or relationships we have as disruptors and cats, because they help us to prove the art of the possible, really.
Well, can you tell us then about NaviLens? What is it, and how have you and the RNIB been involved in it?
Yeah, so NaviLens is a technology that we identified about 2 years ago now, which is effectively the next generation of QR code. NaviLens is very different. So a QR, it's actually a colourful QR code, which I'll use on the example that we can talk about shortly. But it's a colourful QR code which looks like this. It's approximately the size of a stamp in the corner, and they can come in a range of different sizes. So, for example, a QR code, a NaviLens code, which is the size of the one that I've just shown on a Kelloggs box, which is about the size of a stamp. That can be detected from about 3 meters away, where a NaviLens code the size of an A4 sheet of paper can actually be detected from about 25 to 30 meters away. And that's done through the smartphone camera that you have. So you download the NaviLens app, and whatever's in that code, which we can be talking about product information or navigational information, is relayed to you. So whatever the phone can see is relayed to you. So this technology simulates some of those human behaviors that our sighted counterparts have in actually, positional understanding and navigating around the space. Whatever your phone can see is relayed to you, and that can be relayed in audio or within text format. That can then be, working with your standard accessibility features built into your smartphone. So yeah, it's been used across the world for navigation. So it's in the Barcelona metro system, for example, on the underground. It's in LA and was actually featured in some of the photos from the Oscars. And I was in LA 2 years ago and installing it, which was, a brilliant experience. And, it's actually now being featured in a number of places in the world. And, one of the examples of that where we've implemented it on packaging. So, the reason why we wanted to work with packaging, for example, is for a number of reasons, but we know that that the retail space is another area that NaviLens can be used for. So it's important for in our thinking that we think about solutions that can create that end-to-end customer journey.
How does it work practically? Because if you've got lots of different Kelloggs cereal boxes, because that's the first brand that you've worked with in food and beverage, isn't it?
I can actually demonstrate it now. I've got my smartphone in my hand, and I've activated the NaviLens app. Now, what you can do, you're always in control when using NaviLens. So if you're pointing in the general direction of the code, I get a click. So I've received 2 clicks, and it will let me know the closest product to me. And it told me that Special K was the closest to me. Now, if I'm in an area, like you say, where there's multiple products, then how do I filter that information? What is it I'm looking for? So I could be browsing, in which it's going to tell me what's close to me, what's the next closest. But then I can actually select which product I want to look for, or filter the information to say, actually, I'm only looking for Special K. So it will ignore every other tag and just tell me where Special K is.
So do you envisage that people would do their shopping list as such before they left the house?
There's two ways, really, two different customer journeys here. So if we think of browsing and going around the retail store, you're navigating around the store, and then you find a product, and then you'll want to know what that product is, and you also may want to know, which is incredibly important, what the ingredients are. So that's what we did here with Kelloggs. So if I point my phone in the box, I get all the information about that on my phone. That's incredibly important for me to get that information in an accessible format, because it's not on products. Now, I can go into a store and purchase it and be navigated to the product. But also, if I shop online and I get a product, I might want to know how to cook it when I get it home. And this information is on it for a reason. It's incredibly important. And you know, it's in a lot of cases, it's quite small anyway. And this information, when we did our trials last year, we had people who didn't have a visual impairment saying to us, well, this is just easier for me. But when you get home, when you've got that shopping home, you're still going to be able to use the NaviLens code to really understand the packaging from cooking instructions, or if you've got a squirty spray, for example, for cleaning, how do I use it? Do I need to wear gloves? Is this toxic? So, and this is all information that we miss out on.
So do you envisage that this is going to be going beyond cereal packing? Do you see that we'll be able to enter a supermarket, grocery store and do your week shopping using NaviLens technology?
I think the dream there, Chantal, that we can really, raise the bar in this space and get to a point where we can do that. I'd love to see this on other products, and there are a number of organizations who are speaking to us about this right now, following the work we did last year and the announcement by Kelloggs. But this is about providing equal access to information. The fact that it can be detected from a distance is a big bonus as well.
Are Kellogg's doing it just in the UK, or are they doing it on any of their other countries where they operate?
Kellogg's have announced this. That this will be on their cereal portfolio across Europe. So this is the first step they've taken. So 2 million people in the UK with sight loss that this could potentially support, or 20 million in Europe. So the amazing thing is here, Chantal, is that we're talking about a solution here that actually, if I go into another country where a Kellogg's product is, if I detect the code, it will automatically translate that information to the native language of my smart device. So we're talking about an inclusive solution across the board here. So even just from a language perspective, we're translating information into somebody's native language using the technology we have at our disposal. Ultimately, what we're doing here is, we're opening up greater choice and independence, the ability to decide, that I want to buy this, and therefore when I buy this, I'm not going to send it back or leave it in the cupboard. It gives people a choice and the ability to independently access information that, historically, RNIB tried to crack this space in 2010 and we couldn't, because technology just wasn't where it's at now. But now we have technology that's allowing people like me and others to bridge the gap. I think more excitingly, Chantal, that we've actually demonstrated that this can be put on products. But actually, if we work backwards in the customer journey, when we look at retail, the same solution, being a slightly bigger size code lineage within a retail space, could actually be used to navigate customers around a retail store. And that is something that we are really, really focusing on right now, because entering a store and getting that end-to-end customer journey, whether you're blind or partially sighted, or whether you've gone into to a supermarket that you've never gone into before,
being blind, partially sighted, that's, it's very disabling not knowing where you're going. It will put you off even trying to make that journey. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. I know that you were thinking about this a few years ago, but now the technology is where it needs to be. So it's really good.
NaviLens are a really forward-thinking organisation. They are always innovating on their functionality to make it even better for the user.
What other sectors do you see adopting the NaviLens technology? We look into the future.
We are working on, and they will be launching in the next couple of weeks, examples of NaviLens within travel and transport here in the UK. So not just across the world in the likes of Barcelona, but actually here in the UK, which we'll be sharing. And yeah, I mean, I was using NaviLens when I went to Spain in a museum. And for the first time in my life, I was able to navigate completely independently at my leisure and decide to look at what I wanted to look at for the very first time, to the point where my colleague who was with me, who's actually been within this sector for around 15 years, was actually quite teary because he'd never seen somebody completely, just go off independently with a visual impairment. And I was showing him around for the first time.
Well, I wish you all the best with it. And we want to, follow you guys on the journey and share that with all the sunflower community as well, of which I know that they will be so excited about what's coming down the line. So thanks for your time today.